Welcome to the 60 Plus Podcast.
I'm Janet.
I'm Allergy Ridden Joe.
Oh, hello, allergy-ridden Joe. How are you?
I'm allergy ridden.
Yeah, it makes you sleepy, doesn't it?
Sleepy and irritable and just, yeah,
Wait, how is that different from your usual?
no difference.
Well, listen, I took an antihistamine, and I tell you, I think that makes you sleepy. I don't know which is worse, the histamines in your body or the antihistamine.
Whatever makes you tired.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I understand. I'm cranky too.
Although, how does that make you different than usual?
Ha 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 ha.
I won't complain too much though because it's
Oh,
spring. No, it's spring and I'm happy and
it's gorgeous.
it's really
It's
nice.
beautiful.
Yep.
A beautiful, beautiful sky is just blue as can be, not a cloud in it, and which is different than the last week. It was very rainy, so and cold. Ooh.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're happy. Yay!
We didn't have to turn on the heat in the studio today, which makes you happy.
Well, which makes you happy too, because you're not complaining. Well, it makes me happy too,
Okay.
because you're not complaining.
Besides the weather and allergies, what are we talking about today, Janet?
Well, last week we had a Real Talk guest, Jeff, and he happened to mention one of the things that he really is enjoying that keeps him busy in his retirement years is volunteering.
He did.
Yeah.
And coincidentally, last week was National Volunteer Week. And we didn't even know that.
And we didn't even celebrate.
I did.
We missed. What'd you do?
I thanked a volunteer.
Did you?
I did. I said, thank you for your service.
But do you volunteer?
You know what? Earlier we were talking and I said I don't. I do actually.
What do you do?
This morning I was helping maintain the grounds of a museum locally.
Okay, well that counts.
Yeah, I think it does.
Yeah,
I kind of forgot
you don't
about
get
that.
paid for
It's
it.
the allergies.
Yeah. And
That may be why I'm like suffering so badly today because I was like,
oh,
yeah.
yes, and all of the trees that have flowers on them are in bloom right now, which makes the drive really pretty. My drive today was really pretty because the buds are red and pink and green and
white.
It was just colorful,
Yes.
lovely.
Yes.
Anyway, so
happy belated National Volunteer Week.
Aren't you going to ask me if I volunteer?
Do you volunteer, Janet?
I am volunteering right now with the Alzheimer's Association.
Oh, that's right.
I'm working on their gala event.
How's that going?
Very well. Very well. It is sometimes hard to fit those volunteer hours in when you're working full time, but it certainly is a worthy cause. And I would imagine if you were retired, you would have more hours to work. And that's what Jeff was talking about. And he was really talking about how wonderful that was for him to be able to do the volunteer work that he does.
It sounds like it gets him out of the house.
Yes. And he likes to be outside too. So
yeah.
he chose to volunteer for the local refuge, which gets him outside in the air, which is one of the things that he likes, which I think is probably really important when you think about volunteering, that it's something that gets you to do something that you like to do or is a cause that's very meaningful to you. But anywho, so we thought we would talk about that and research the benefits of volunteering because some of the stats on this are pretty wild.
I was blown away by I really was blown away by this.
I know. It's like, who knew? But, let's start by saying that in the United States alone, there are 79 million people who are 60 plus in our age group.
Correct.
So there's definitely a growing population of older adults, which means there's a growing population of people who might benefit from this activity.
Not to say that other people can't volunteer.
No, of course not. No.
But it may be that people in our demographic have a little bit more
time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And the stats that we found were certainly with regards to that older demographic. So they basically fell into three categories: the mental health benefits, physical health benefits, and quality of life benefits, or that sense of value that you're getting from it.
Social connection and purpose and that kind of thing.
Right.
Which are things we talk about so frequently.
Very frequently.
Almost every episode.
It's almost like the magic to longevity is a lot of this overlaps. And drinking water.
We're both drinking water. I was really surprised that volunteering, a study published in Social Science and Medicine found that volunteering for as little as 1 hour a week is associated with slower biological aging in adults 62 and over.
I saw that one.
That's crazy.
Yes. But I thought the one that really blew me away was that there was a study done, a health and retirement study done, that showed that around 100 hours a year, which calculates to what, Joe?
Less than 2 hours a week.
Yeah. Leads to a 44% reduction in the...
You needed me to do that math? Did you really?
In the risk of mortality.
Right.
Basically, if you volunteer, you have less risk of dying. I mean, that's kind of what that says, really. But
it's exactly what that says.
Yeah. And so, overall health really can improve. And in fact, there was a study done about overall health. 84% reported stable or improved health within 2 years of volunteering any amount.
That's kind of crazy.
It is kind of crazy.
You had suggested we do an episode on volunteering, and I was like, okay, it's a good idea. It's a good thing to do.
Right.
It helps the community. It helps a demographic, whoever it helps. I never expected that reducing mortality.
Right. Or that have all these personal health benefits. Depression, 70% with fewer symptoms after 1 year. And these were people who initially reported five plus symptoms of depression.
Wow.
That's amazing stuff.
It's pretty impressive.
So it's not only physical health, it's mental health.
Mm-hmm.
It's, this sense of feeling better about yourself, whatever.
According to AmeriCorps seniors, if you volunteer any amount at all, 88% felt fewer feelings of isolation after 2 years.
Yeah. And I can imagine, right? You're connecting with new people. Maybe you're doing something on a regular basis, which means you're building the social network around this activity.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets you out of the house, perhaps. You can volunteer remotely too, but it can get you out of the house. But, even connecting virtually.
One of the things that a number of sources that I looked at said, was most important is to match your interests and skills. And I think that's important. It's kind of obviously important, but I think it's important because you'll be less likely to stop. If it's something that you're interested in.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, that's the motivation, right? If you're interested in it, or if it's like that sense of giving back to something that is meaningful to you.
Mm-hmm. The work that I was doing on the grounds of a local museum, I didn't have to go to the gym after doing that today.
I bet. Yard work is really.
I was
clean up,
wheeling this very, very heavy roller to press the seed into the ground.
Yeah. And that it reminded me of that other little tidbit that I found out recently about this group of people. I think it was in Hawaii, where you wouldn't think that people were struggling in any regard if you live in Hawaii, but these were seniors and also teens and people who were struggling with addictions and depression and physical ailments. And they all got together to clean up yard work. You were saying, clean up this community garden. And after just weeks, several of the older population had tossed out their cane, right? They started feeling the physical benefits, and the teens were, less depressed or whatever. It was just amazing. So I think that combo of doing something in a community and volunteering and being outside is probably gives you a double dose of
at this time of year.
Yeah, definitely.
Where we live, there's snow shoveling, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a local organization that you can volunteer to go and shovel the walkway or the driveway of older people. Yeah.
That's cool.
I think they call them snow angels.
Really? I
Yeah.
like the idea of
Yeah.
that. Can you make snow angels while you do it too?
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You can like leave a nice snow angel in the
People
front
that live
yard.
down south are going to be like, "What are snow angels?
Eh,
What does that mean?" It's you lay on the ground and you wave your arms back and forth, and it
And
looks
your
like you have
legs
wings and your
too.
legs.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
I don't exercise that much. It's either arms or legs.
You do a half angel.
Half angel. Yeah.
Yeah. There was one thing that we forgot to mention.
What's
That
that?
the volunteering also helps cognitive ability. They reported improved performance compared to non-volunteers in an experiment that was done.
That's really interesting.
Isn't it? I
Well,
I guess you're using your brain in a different way. It's kind of like, doing your word games or whatever.
none of this made sense to me when
And
well,
of course we believe it because the sources
we've got
that we use.
they'll be all in the show notes, but
Yeah.
tons of sources.
Yes, tons of sort. Lower blood pressure. Adults over 50 who volunteered regularly are less likely to develop high blood pressure, a key risk factor for heart disease and stroke.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's from Harvard Health.
Harvard Health.
Yep. You mentioned cognitive function. That's Stanford Center on Longevity.
Yes.
So, I mean,
And a very credible source on that.
other than the Alzheimer's Foundation that you're volunteering for,
Yeah.
what would you like to volunteer for if you had more time?
Oh, I do like to be outside,
Mm-hmm.
so I thought about also helping out in the local refuge and whatnot.
The wildlife
And I
refuge.
have done that before. I mean, I have gone to cleanups and stuff, but
Mhm.
it wasn't on a regular basis. But every time they had one, I would go and clean the beach and any excuse to get another walk in the beach. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, for sure. I think sometimes people are a little hesitant because they're like, oh, I don't know who I could volunteer for or what I could do. I found this website called volunteermatch.org.
Ooh,
And
like a dating site for
you
volunteerism.
know what? It's exactly like that. You go in and you can say it's volunteermatch.org,
Yeah.
and you can check whether you want to do in person or virtual or either.
Mm-hmm.
You put in your location.
Okay.
You can say my causes are, and there's a couple of dozen different causes that you can support, and you check those, and then you say, well, what skills do I have? And there's several dozen skills that you could use in your volunteering,
Mm-hmm.
and then say, how far away from my location do I want to travel? Be any distance, and you can say, I want to limit it to 55 plus age group.
Okay.
And daytime or evenings, weekends or weekdays, and you click it, and I did it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm
What
s-
did you get?
oh
Anything
gosh,
fun?
all kinds, but I was really impressed with the number of organizations that were available.
Yeah.
It was like 60 something different
Wow.
organizations within 20 miles of where I live.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing.
So what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna work on the grounds of a local museum
And how often do you do that?
as needed.
Are you going to meet the 100-hour required amount
Well, that's what
to
I was doing
reduce your
today. There are
to
other.
reduce your mortality by 44%?
I'll tell you how I got
reduction?
into this because I'm not like a gardening type. I'm not
No.
no. I don't really particularly like it,
Okay.
but I have a good friend who does it all the time.
Yeah.
He donates his time to the city with donating trees and planting trees and taking care of the grounds of the museum. And he'll just text me and say, "We're going to go plant trees tomorrow." I say, "Okay." And we go and we plant trees.
Nice.
Not little saplings, big trees with root balls that are like 3 feet across. And
That sounds like hard work.
it is hard work, and I don't go to the
I
gym
could
on those
maybe
days.
go and direct the efforts.
I do that sometimes. I was doing a bit of that today. I was holding the shovel up.
Well, at least you're there.
Okay. We mentioned that it was National Volunteer Week last week.
Yeah.
And people might think that that's okay, get people to sign up to volunteer. And that's not what it's about. It's about celebrating volunteers.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
I think any excuse for a celebration is good.
I agree. If especially if they're refreshments.
Yes, beverages.
Where I live, you can actually volunteer with the city and work off some of your property tax.
Somebody mentioned that to me the other day,
I
and I thought that was brilliant.
and some of the volunteering is like when you walk into City Hall,
Yeah,
there's like a greeter at the desk, like an information desk. Like you don't know where to go or
right,
what department to go to. And that person will tell you, oh, you have a tax question? You go to the assessor's office or the treasurer's
right.
office. And that's down the hall on the left. I mean, that's part of the volunteering.
Huh.
And I think you can work off up to about $2,000 of your property tax
Wow.
bill.
That's cool. I'm
It
gonna
is
have to
kind of
check.
cool. I don't know if other places have it, but it's something to explore.
Right. It's very clever, really.
It's very clever. You can apply some of your skills in other situations and volunteer opportunities all throughout the city. And you're getting something back
Yeah.
that you don't get when you're tending the grounds of a local museum.
Well, that's okay.
It is
You
okay.
get the intrinsic value.
Sure, sure.
With that idea, you get the intrinsic value and then some real hard cash
Well,
in
yeah,
your pocket.
$2,000 is nothing to sneeze at.
No, but even with the allergies.
I'm sneezing at everything. I went for a walk a couple of days ago. I must have sneezed 30 times. I think people were like
They
keeping their
thought you were
distance. Yeah, they're
sick.
keeping their distance from me.
I know it's like you want to wear a sign at this time of year saying, "It's allergies, I swear."
And they all say, "Well, how do you know that?" I know.
Yeah, you know
Yeah,
you know
I
your
do know.
body. You're in tune.
There are tons of organizations that you can volunteer for. And some of the big ones, AmeriCorps Seniors, nationwide.
Yep.
They're available nationwide. This is one I hadn't heard of, Experience Corps. And people that are 50 years old and older are literacy tutors for children in public schools.
Oh, wow. I like
And
that.
and I'm sure there are also opportunities to be a math tutor or, science tutor. If you have a background in that, you can help kids. And there are times when
I
I
don't know if
say,
I should do that one or not.
no, the math.
Matthew,
Yeah, no, you shouldn't. You asked me how many
I
hours
was
a
giving
week
you an opportunity to say
to
something.
demonstrate my math skills.
Yeah.
100 divided by 50.
52, actually.
I know. Well, you get a vacation.
2 weeks off for holidays.
Meals on Wheels. Meals on Wheels is a huge organization, and it really helps people that might otherwise not be able to go out and do grocery
Yeah.
shopping. Or I know people that have done it, and I think sometimes they just want some company. They don't have any visitors.
Yeah. Well, there's that isolation thing,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, which one you were asking me earlier about what I would like. I love the Habitat for Humanity, what they do, where they go in and they,
Have you ever done it?
yes, I did actually
I,
do a
I,
cleanup.
I did
local.
as well. I organized it for at a company that I worked for. It was a little complicated to organize a team.
It is a good team effort, though. It is good.
It is.
And
It is.
it's amazing how much when you have a group of people together.
How much you get done.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the overall message here is that if you're willing and able and you have the time, then it's a benefit to, of course, the organization that you're going to be volunteering for, but it's also a benefit to you. And so don't hesitate.
And if you can find some kind of a tax work-off program, it's not only a benefit where you're getting out there, you're interacting with people in your community, you're all the cognitive benefits and lack of isolation. You get a tax write-off. It works great
Yeah. Well, if that's the case for wherever you live, yeah.
if you can find that. Yes,
Yeah.
we're fortunate where we are that we do have that.
So what were some of the other organizations that popped up for you? Any local ones that seem interesting?
The one that did pop up was the local senior center. They're always looking for volunteers.
Okay.
If you're kind of on the shy side of things,
Mm-hmm.
where you don't really want to walk in and say, okay, I want to participate in something, but if you're volunteering,
Yeah, might get you in the door. And
yeah.
you can see what's going on there.
Hmm.
Yeah. I like
Um,
it. I remember one time I was at a play and the ushers were volunteers and they said, it's great because I get to come and see all the performances.
Local
free.
community theaters do that very, very
Yeah.
frequently, where all of the ushers are volunteers,
Yeah.
and they do get that.
That's the thought though, is that, find something that you enjoy and that you're giving back and enjoying at the same time.
I have a good friend who, and this is something that's not for everybody, but she volunteers at a hospice facility. And she finds tremendous satisfaction in volunteering at hospice. Now,
Wow.
that
Yeah, that
wouldn't
would
be
be
for
tough
me.
for me. But you know what I always want to do is hold babies, rock babies at the
Uh-huh.
hospital.
Sure.
That would be something that would be
Is that
really
something that you
cool.
can volunteer for?
I think you can, yeah.
So if
You used to
it's,
be able to anyway. I don't know.
yeah, they need that kind of human contact and
Yes.
skin on skin contact, right?
Yeah.
There are a number of organizations that will help people. You need to go to a doctor's appointment, but you can't
Yep.
drive, or you don't have a car, or
You can arrange that through the senior center
you can
too.
arrange it through a senior center. But there are organizations, you can raise a service dog. There are organizations that you'll raise a service dog, and
Yep.
you may not have to train the service dog, but the service dog needs to live somewhere while it's being trained. So you probably just take it off and for a few hours of training a day, and then you bring it home and you have a dog.
For a little
It's
while.
like renting a dog.
Yeah. Rent a dog. Didn't you have that idea?
I did have that
I
idea.
think that was you were just trying to pick up chicks, so.
It was the idea for people who were newly single to rent a dog because everyone likes to stop and talk to people who have dogs.
Yeah, but unfortunately, you tend to find out the dog's name, but not the person.
If you have a local hospital, they're always looking for volunteers. Always.
Well, that's the holding babies thing too.
Yeah, but there's other. I mean, you can volunteer in an information desk. You can volunteer in the gift shop.
You could be a candy
You
striper.
could be a candy. My sister did that when she was younger.
Yeah, mine did too.
Yep. And did she wear the striped uniform?
Yeah, and she wanted to be a nurse, and then she turned out to be an accountant.
The candy striping turned her away from nursing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So volunteering is a great way to just feel good about yourself, help other people, and you get all the benefits of the cognitive benefits,
And
physical benefits, emotional well-being.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I think, let's get going.
it can help you live longer.
That's incredible.
That's the big surprise for me in this episode.
That's the same thing they say about gratitude. And, I think it's all part and parcel to that. Good feelings lead to good health.
Well, good luck with the Alzheimer's Foundation
Thank you so much.
work that you're doing.
Thank you. And good luck with the trees.
Thank you. If I can get over the allergies, it'll be even better.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you, Janet, and thank you all the volunteers out there listening to us. And I think that's it for this episode of the 60 Plus podcast.
Yes, it is.
All right. Until next week, I'm Joe.
I'm Janet. Bye.